Welcome back to Bleav in Softball, presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Jenna, and however you got here today, whether you downloaded the audio version on Apple, Spotify, etc., or you're watching video on YouTube, thank you and welcome back. Subscribe and rate the show wherever you get your pods. If you haven't noticed, we have an updated show logo across all of our digital platforms. It's a new look, but the same good vibe, so let us know what you think. Follow us on Instagram and X at Bleav in Softball, that's BLEAV. And there's still merch. Click the link in our bio on either page or go to shop.bleav.com to purchase 3 shirts available for you, covering our bases, safer out, and catch you soon in 3 different colors. All right, let's go through today's batting order. First, we will be covering our bases. I'm going to share some call outs. Then we'll head into today's interview with Sierra Romero. She has excelled at the most elite levels of pro and college softball as one of the most decorated players. And she also played for our last guest, Mike Stith, who helped develop her in travel ball as she prepared to carve out her path, and her sister, Sydney, too. So it's always fun to get a glimpse into the mind and families of one of the greats. Excited for it. And then we'll bring it home and wrap up with some final thoughts. All right, let's go. Covering our bases. We're back with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. We've been locked in for pro softball and the AUSL season this summer. And right after it ends, the NFL officially starts. We're upgrading from preseason play to the regular season, just like Travis Kelce upgraded Taylor Swift from girlfriend to fiance. So whether you're a diehard NFL fan or the Tavis engagement already felt like your Super Bowl, football is back. Are you ready for it? Either way, FanDuel is there for you. They have everything from player receiving yard props to rushing props, plus those same game parlays that let you get creative. FanDuel's SGP menu is deep and impressive, so you can really build some fun combinations around player performances and game outcomes. So football fans, run, don't walk. Swifties, while you're waiting for Taylor's new album to drop, get ready to enter your new era in the life of a fangirl. Because we believe in softball and we believe in FanDuel. In pro softball, all eyes are on it here in the US, the AUSL All-Star Cup. The last weekend is coming up. We're going to crown a champion after this final series. Captains and teams, this is what it looks like. Team Gold, Kayla Kwolek still at the top of the standings, coming from the Blaze in the regular season. Team Orange is Aaron Koffel from the Bandits. Blue is Rachel Garcia from the Volts. And purple, Kaylani Ricketts from the Blaze as well. So the standings going into this thing, this last series, those are the top 4, of course, in that order. But then the rest of the top 10 looks like this. Devin Netz, Danica Coffey, Delaney Wiz, Amanda Lorenz, which is impressive since she missed some games, Corby Otis, and Elena Vaughter. So for the top 10 are Team Gold this week with Kayla Kwolek. That's also Netz, Otis, and Vaughter. 3 are orange, not just Koffel, but of course Wiz and Lorenz. 2 blue with Garcia and Coffey, and then the 1 purple with Ricketts. There's obviously a clear pattern here with the draft order and when they're allowed to take people. And it's interesting because Kayla Kwolek had been picking former UK teammate and best friend, Aaron Koffel, first every draft. She said that was her strategy. But now they're actually both captains. So Kwolek is actually about 400 points ahead in the top spot, but we know that a lot can happen in a series. And by the way, today's guest, Sierra Romero, sits at 13th going into the weekend. She'll be wearing orange and playing for Team Koffel. Speaking of the jerseys that these ladies play, some cool new stats came out in terms of most popular player jerseys. Which ones are the fans most excited about that they've been buying up? Sam Landry takes the top spot, followed by Montana Fouts and Sis Bates. The rest of the top 10 includes Skylar Wallace, Michaela Edenfield, Sydney McKinney, Brie Ellis, Lexi Kilfoyle, Tiari Jennings, and Aaliyah Andrews. Altogether, that's 4 Volts, 3 Bandits, 2 Talons, and 1 from the Blaze. Also includes 3 rookies, including the top spot there, of course, with Sam Landry, and 2 in the top 5. So congratulations to them for such an immediate impact with the fan base. And then I got to say, too, usually we see pitchers get a lot of this attention, and there are 3 in that group. But leading the way are the infielders, which is special to me, my defensive heart. 5 of them, and then 1 catcher and 1 outfielder as well. But for the Topps trading cards that we've seen in past years, there are some this year with AUSL in the first inaugural season here. The Romero sisters might be the coolest one because they've been at it. You know, they've been playing together in the All-Star Cup and against each other, hitting home runs in the same game for opposite teams. And then, of course, against each other in the regular season. But you don't have to choose because a Topps card has both of them together on the same card, which is pretty cool and pretty emblematic of how their family rolls, which we'll get into as we talk to Sierra today. But some other pros also continuing that cool crossover with the MLB. Home Run Derby X in Oklahoma City didn't disappoint. The Dodgers ended up winning the championship. That team included Sydney Romero and Jada Coleman, who teamed up with Adrian Gonzalez. The Oklahoma Sooners team, aka the first ever all-female Home Run Derby X team with OU alums Tiari Jennings, Kinsey Hansen, and Jocelyn Allo, took second place just behind them. Pretty cool as well seeing the current OU team show up. They even tried catching home run balls in the outfield, talking with fans, etc. So as usual in Oklahoma City, it was a total Sooner fest. But also very cool to just see some of our pros get this kind of exposure and crossover with the baseball side. And just globally in terms of exposure too, don't forget the Japan Diamond League. So of course, pro softball leagues in the US, they might be over after this weekend, but there's more around the world to look forward to. Specifically, the second half of the season starts in September in that Japan Diamond League. The playoffs and the Champ Series will be in November. So keep an eye on it because there are also American players who played in the first half and who will continue to play. You know, Erica Piancastelli was over there before AUSL, Elena Vaughter, Maya Brady, and more. It's very cool to see the global impact of our sport. And that also continues in the international ranks when it comes to representing your own country. Super exciting news came out recently that Australia will host the WBSC Women's World Cup in 2027. So the competition is going to be held in Redcliffe, Queensland, with the top 8 teams in the world. It has been over 60 years since the World Cup has been on Australian soil. The first edition ever of this event was in Melbourne back in 1965. Australia actually beat Team USA to win. They had about 25,000 fans there in attendance. So imagine what it could be like today. The Aussies are rightfully excited to, as they put it in their press release, inspire the next generation with Olympic dreams, boost grassroots participation, and deliver lasting benefits to local communities. Sums it up pretty nicely because basically exposure is key and visibility creates opportunity. So some of the big names in Australian softball had some great things to say about it as well. Kaya Parnaby, who's the Aussie Spirit co-captain, she said, "It gets me very emotional thinking about it. I never thought I'd have the opportunity to play for Australia on home soil in front of my family and friends. It means the world." That's coming from someone who's going to be suiting up and hoping to be able to do that at the World Cup. Stacey Porter, who's one of the legends for Softball Australia, 4-time Olympian, she said, "To see the success that the Matildas had in this country was fantastic for women's sport as a whole. I'd love for the Aussie Spirit to have the same impact moving forward." If you don't know who the Matildas are, think back. It's the women's national team on the soccer side for Australia. Australia actually hosted the Women's World Cup for FIFA back in 2023 and just had a fantastic run. So they're hoping to kind of repeat that on the softball side. And then lastly, Sarah Lowe, the Softball Australia CEO, said, "It's absolutely critical that we can showcase our sport that will inspire all boys and girls to play, watch, and be supporters of our Aussie Spirit." Especially noteworthy when you consider that the next Olympics is in Brisbane in 2032. That's only 45 minutes away from where this is going to be in Redcliffe, Queensland, and it's just 5 years later. So we want softball in that Olympic lineup. Maybe this type of exposure can help us get there. To get to that point as well, the finals for the World Cup, you have to go through the group stage, which is in 2026. It's going to lead up to it. You'll have about 18 different teams, but Group A will compete in Prague, June 16th through 20th in 2026. Obviously, number 11 in the world, Czech, going to host there. Group B is in Lima, July 21st through the 25th. That's number 18, Peru, as the host country. And then Group C in Oklahoma City, September 17th through 21st in 2026. And that's the number 2 USA team hosting. In terms of who else is qualified in the Americas, number 3, Puerto Rico, number 4, Canada, number 7, Mexico, number 13, Cuba, and number 14, Venezuela. In Asia, you got number 1, Japan, still at number 1, by the way, despite getting bronze in the World Games due to all the points that they've stacked up. Number 5, Chinese Taipei, and number 10, China. The remaining slots will be filled by a few teams from Europe, a couple from Africa, and 1 from Oceania. The top 2 teams from each of those groups, plus a couple of wild cards, are going to advance into the finals in 2027. I think this is all important. Went a little bit deeper into this time because we got to understand our history. You build on the past to make the most of the present and then push for more in the future, which is what we're trying to do. And we're going to get to crown another champion, which is always fun. Speaking of which, in terms of taking home the hardware for the Golden Mike Awards, you guys heard it last week, 15 Bleavers were nominated for the 2025 Golden Mikes, recognizing college softball broadcasters throughout the country. 14 guests and myself. Voting closed Wednesday, August 27th, but just want to say thanks to all of you who voted and supported not just us, but softball broadcasting in the game in general. And someone who's made and is still making a big impact on the game is today's guest. So let's head into the interview. She's a longtime pro, current AUSL Vault infielder, 2016 USA Softball National Player of the Year and Honda Sport Award winner, Michigan Sports Hall of Famer, 4-time Big Ten champion, 3-time Big Ten Player of the Year, and the first 4-time All-American in Michigan program history, Sierra Romero. Sierra, thank you for joining. I am super excited about this.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
That was a long intro. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Does it feel weird when you hear all of those things kind of listed in a row? It only scratches the surface, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things it's nice to reflect on because it happened, and it's just really cool to see that I'm still playing now, 10th year, I think it is, in the pro league. So it's been a long time.
Oh, yeah. It's been fun to watch this entire time. And you're right. I mean, you've had so many different experiences at some of the top levels in the sport. And for you being a part of the first ever, though, AUSL season, how did it compare to your expectations and maybe your other pro experiences?
Oh, I mean, it definitely met the expectations. And I think what's so cool is we're surrounded by a staff of people that are always looking to improve. So let's just say there was a little area that we're like, hey, let's try to do this for next year. It's so cool to see staff and everybody behind the scenes taking notes on those things because they just want to continue to improve it. But for the first year, I thought it went great. I had so much fun. Round Rock was absolutely insane playing in front of it was like 6,000 or 6,500 fans. That crowd was just, it gave me chills, seeing that kind of a turnout for professional softball. And everywhere we went, the fans were awesome. And it was so cool to see people find their favorite team and, have that almost like rivalry of, yeah, my team's better than your team. And then seeing the fans get into it on social media and how excited they were about it. I loved seeing that.
Not only being part of this first season, but also being a part of the growth of Athletes Unlimited, because you played a few seasons of Athletes Unlimited prior to AUSL too. Mm-hmm. Was that a little bit surreal to think about as you looked around?
Where we were at with Athletes Unlimited to where we are now?
Yeah, just seeing the growth and how it evolved.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's what was so exciting was I think that us pro players, we've been craving that team atmosphere because you get it with Athletes Unlimited, but it's short-lived because you're on a different team all the time. Whereas, with the AUSL league, you stick to the same team all season. So it's really cool to rally behind players and to really get to know your teammates. I think that that's what makes a really good team is when you really get to fight for each other, get to know each other, figure out how you all mesh well together and how you guys can all come to that common goal of winning and then winning the championship at the end. That's where that team atmosphere comes in. So it was really fun, change of scenery. When I got into AU, I knew the point system and that's kind of all I knew, right? But I was still craving that team aspect of it because I only got to be with teams for really a week, maybe, because we would have a 3-game series and then you'd practice with them throughout the week after the draft. But you couldn't really build those relationships as much as we did during the AUSL season. And for me, that was the most fun was building those relationships and getting to know my teammates and to fight for each other.
Well, let's talk about the Vaults. You guys were fun to watch. How would you describe what those relationships were like and just the camaraderie among all of you this first season?
Yeah, we had such a close-knit team and a team that was ready to put the work in and so many different types of players and personalities. And for me, it was so fun to see somebody like me at my age and 10 years in pro and you have someone like a rookie, Mia Scott, coming in and seeing the impact she has with the generation. And when we were in Round Rock, seeing the fans go crazy for her, like it was cool for me to see that just as a pro, because I remember when I was like the rookie out of college and that feeling of wow, I'm a pro, but then also the fans being behind you like that. So for me, it was really cool to see that for her and all the other rookies. But it made me happy knowing that this their rookie year was our first year of AUSL. So I'm like, you guys are in such good hands. Like that's so I was just happy for them that they get to start with AUSL. They're not finishing up their career with AUSL. They're gonna have AUSL and then they're gonna get to keep growing with pro softball, and I'm really excited for the future of it.
Well, people like you playing as long as you have are a big reason why that's even possible for these rookies and these young ones coming through. Does that kind of hit you at all as well?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew that whenever I finished playing, it wasn't going to be when softball was at its like peak, with pro softball, I should say. College softball is another story, but with pro softball, I knew that I probably wouldn't get to experience softball at its peak, where maybe girls are making an insane salary to where that's their only job, or that's really their main focus is just being a pro. So for me, it's always been about just building the sport, building up the people around me, and just trying to make sure that I leave the game better than I found it. So for me, it's just always been trying to make sure any sponsors I've ever had, to make sure I'm doing business the right way and I'm representing pro softball players the right way. So then that way, when that sponsorship is no longer mine, it's not even a second thought that they don't want to go give it to another softball player. They're like, well, Sierra did a good job with this sponsorship, so like let's keep a softball player. And that's always been my goal, not only like to have those sponsorships for myself, but like for the future of them. Because if I do business well and I treat people right, then those businesses are always going to stay with softball.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Not just opening the door, but holding the door open
Yeah, I
for
don't want the
people who
door to
come after
just
you.
close once I'm done. I want it to stay open so another softball player can take over what I was doing.
Right, right. It's a great mindset to have.
That's the only way we keep growing. So I'm hoping that whoever takes over in whatever sponsorship I have, whenever that door closes, like I just hope that they continue to do a good job and treat it like a business and try to grow it, especially whatever it is they're doing on the softball side, because that's the only way we continue to get better.
Yeah. You talked about doing it the right way. Taking a step back and thinking about your whole life and all the things that you've done, how would you describe what doing it the right way means?
Um, just leading by example. So, whatever, like I know right versus wrong. I know what hard work looks like. I know what those things look like, and just always trying to put my best foot forward, but then also like doing things the right way means being honest and having like hard conversations, and I feel like I'm somebody who can do that, whether it's with a teammate or whether it's with AU, like AUSL, like do I need to be like, hey, we don't need this, we need this? Do I need to speak up for the players here? Do I need to go have a conversation with my teammate? Like just being able to have those conversations so that way we can always grow. I think that that's something that's really big, and that's kind of just where I always try to go with putting my best foot forward, having the hard conversations, and then just leading by example. Because if I'm doing the right things, like people around me are also going to do the right things because they don't want to be left out.
Right. That's a good way of thinking about it. They don't want to be left out. They want to be on the Sierra train.
Right. If
Yeah.
I'm doing the wrong things, then that just gives wiggle room for everybody else to do the wrong things. So I like to hold
Right.
myself to a higher standard.
Yeah. And it is a team sport, but individually it starts within us,
Mhm.
right? So what you're talking about, it does have this ripple effect that goes to other people.
Oh yeah, I mean, attitude and energy, all those things are contagious. They really are. Like whether you're having a good day or bad day, like that can rub off on somebody, even if you don't mean for it to, which is why like us players, like us athletes, we always try to leave outside stuff outside once we get to the field, because like that energy really does rub off. And sometimes when your teammates are having a bad day, like that's where you kind of just go in with that good energy and that good attitude to like uplift them, because you don't really ever realize kind of just how much that actually helps.
Yeah. Well, and you've been on the receiving end, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure, where other people bring that to you. So you know
Oh,
how
for
great it
sure.
is.
There's days where I'm like, oh, this practice is the last thing I want to do, or this workout's the last thing I want to do. And then I see, Michaela lifting crazy heavy, looking crazy jacked. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get after it today.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we need each other, you know.
Hmm.
It always helps at least to have each other.
Definitely.
And how has it been going? You went and had that team dynamic, of course, that everyone was so excited about to have in AU for the first time. But then it is the All Star Cup, and you're back to sort of that point system as a cool complement or supplement to that regular season. How has it been kind of switching gears to the individual side again?
It's been a little bit weird because I think we went to uh Holly Springs and then Greenville, and then we went on the break. So I'm excited to go back and be in Chicago because anytime I think of like, the point system and stuff, I think of Chicago because that's where we've always been. So it's going to be nice to be like home again with like softball. So I'm excited to go back, but it's been fun. It has been different because we have these rivalries now, and all of a sudden I'm playing with who I don't like. You know what I mean? Like I'm like I want to
Right.
beat you, like you beat my team, like I don't want you to win, kind of thing. So it's funny having to like put that aside because there are even in just the first season, like there's rivalries now. There's this like
Yeah.
competitiveness. Like yes, we like each other and we're all friends and everything, but we want to beat each other. We want to win. Like we're competing. So that part has been weird because you don't have enough time to like be like, hey, let's get to know each other a little. But it's like, okay, I get that we were against each other in AUSL, but now we got to work together to try to win this
Right.
game. So it's been fun. It's been interesting because I didn't think it would be reversed, right? Like that's all we ever knew was the
Yeah.
point system. But now having had the league and your team, you just want to like ride or die for your team. Like I'm like, no, I'm Volts, like through and through. You know what I mean? So
That is a cool aspect.
yeah,
That and it is truly like it's an all-star sort of situation like you see on the men's side, for example, with the MLB, where it's like there are those rivalries, there are those things in place, which is what we hoped for in a pro
right.
softball league.
Yeah, and it's been really fun to see it just unfold. And it's been and it's been nice to play so much softball. Like I feel like we've been
Yeah.
craving being able to play more softball.
Yeah, exactly. And well, I've been craving to watch more, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. It's not the first time you played against your sister, Sydney, as well, but what has it been like playing against her in the regular season and she's with the Talons, and then playing with her in the All Star Cup and possibly having a chance to do that again?
It's been awesome. I mean, it's fun to see her on a team again too because I know she thrives in that setting. So it was fun watching her play. It was fun watching her team win it. It was really cool watching her hit the home run to put them ahead for the game winning run. Um, but you know, it's just so cool because it's like that's what we knew pro softball could do, and it's fun to watch her doing those things and supporting her. And then first weekend out, we get put on the same team, and it's funny because it's always fun playing with each other, but I think what we enjoy the most is that we're actually on the same schedule, so we get to hang out. So
Yeah.
for us, it's like, yes, of course I enjoy playing with her and like I get to go to practice and I get to compete with her. I made that one like Jeter throw and she was right there for it. So it's cool to have those moments to share and like be excited with her about. But it's also really fun those moments that people don't see where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
we're on the same schedule. Like let's go get coffee and breakfast. Like let's go have dinner together because we're on the same schedule. Whereas during season when we were playing against each other, we might have been there to compete against each other, but each team had different schedules, whether it was team meetings, film, dinners, all that stuff. So we didn't get to like really see each other a lot during that time. So that was definitely fun. That first weekend of All Star Cup was being able to spend time outside of the field together.
Yeah, that is really nice. Because, like you said, especially as teams start to get, assigned to certain cities and things like that, it's only going to get more and more different from team to
Right.
team what that schedule looks like. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, your family is obviously very important to you, but it's not just you and Sydney. A lot of people have been excited about this for a while for good reason. You have Sophia, your younger sister, your brother Mikey, all play
Hmm.
softball slash baseball. We'll include Mikey, right? Baseball too. But you're all studs and you have three pros among you all. What do you think it is that made you all fall in love with this game?
I mean, we've been playing since we were little, and I would hope that like Mikey and Pia would say that watching Sydney and I do it, since there is such a big age gap with like 10 and 11-year difference, I would hope that they would say seeing us do it made them want to play and made them want to compete and go after what they wanted. And as far as Sydney and I go, I grew up watching my dad play, and Sydney grew up watching me play. So anytime I was on a team, Sydney had to be at every practice. Sydney wanted to do every drill I was doing. Sydney wanted to be a bat girl if she couldn't be on my team. Like, she just always wanted to be around me. And um, some people probably are like, oh, I bet as a big sis that was annoying, but like, it wasn't. I loved it. And the thing about Sydney is Sydney's always been good. So even when she was younger, like, it's not like I couldn't play catch with her. She could keep up. So I could actually play catch with her
Yeah.
even though I was 3 years older. We could take defensive reps together and we could compete and make each other better. And that's what we've always done since we were younger. And I think that that's in all of us kids. I think that, Mikey wanted to play. He was trained a lot by my dad and then watched us play. And then, he was always watching baseball. And then Sophia was always watching all of us. And so I feel like it was inevitable that they would all kind of fall into it because it's what we knew. And it was how we bonded too, on a day where we're just hanging out. It's like, hey, let's go play wiffle ball outside. Like,
Yeah.
let's go play catch. Let's go, play target practice and let's see who can hit this target or whatever. So we were always doing that with each other.
Yeah. Well, and it's one thing for you all to at least try baseball or softball at one point, right? Because it does
Yeah.
run in the family. It's another thing for you all to stay in love with it and take it as far as you all have. That seems to be really unique and speaks a
Yeah.
lot, I think, to all of you.
Yeah, I think that for us, we always had like an end goal. So, like Sydney and I, at the time, pro softball wasn't where it's at now. So, like for us, it was always about getting our degree paid for, and
Yeah.
going to college. And for us, like, pro softball wasn't the end goal. It was more so being the best so that way we could get our college paid for and we could go to a university and have a really cool experience. My dad was the first person in our family to go to college, and I was the second. And then every person in our family, like Mikey, Sid, Mikey, Pia, like, we're all following in that. And so it's really cool to see us all using a sport to help us get to our dreams. And, Mikey, he did really well and he ended up not going to college. He got drafted so high, he went right out of high school. And then
Yeah.
Sophia, she got to use, her softball skills to go to Boise and, have that be paid for. And like, what a blessing all of that is. And, you can't really ask for more. And it's just cool because now we all have these different experiences at these different universities that are always going to be a part of our lives.
Right. And you have been the first out of your siblings to do a lot. You just said it, of course, going to college, but to do a lot of these things, go pro, there's a lot that goes into being the first. How do you think you carry that, and have you carried that throughout your life?
Um, I think I've done a good job. I think the one thing that I always carry with me is the one thing both my parents have always asked is that I be a good role model to them. Like, it doesn't mean I was perfect, didn't mean I didn't get in trouble in high school and maybe talk back, or I think I maybe got grounded like once, honestly. So I don't think I was really that bad. I wasn't that bad. So just trying to always be a good role model for them, and I feel like that always carried into college and pro, because not only did I want to be a good role model for my siblings, I also wanted to be a good role model for younger softball players that were watching me. So,
Yeah.
whether that was me signing autographs, having conversations with them, or how I carried myself, or, how I fought for certain things that I wanted, and just different like barriers I've tried to break. It's not just, about me. It's also about my siblings, them watching me be this like strong woman and showing them that they can do anything.
Hmm. There's something about the oldest sibling, but also the oldest daughter, like in your situation. I don't know if you've seen all of these memes on social media and things about oldest daughters. And I think I saw one that said something about, yeah, the oldest daughter is like the strongest man you'll ever meet or something because,
I
you're a
believe it.
leader in a lot of ways. Yeah.
I
Does
believe it.
that, yeah, rings true.
Yeah, we joke all the time, and Cindy's always like, gosh, because I can be just as stubborn as like my dad was, and talk and be like that, but then I can also be the caretaker like my mom is. Like, my
Mm,
mom is she's such an amazing mom in the way that she cares for us and all the things, but then I also got the stubborn side from my dad where I don't put up with things and I'm gonna be outspoken if I think something is wrong and I'm not gonna just let things slide. But then I also have, I feel like that softness that, my mom has
Yeah.
also given all of us. So I feel like I got a little bit of the best of both worlds. Sometimes one takes over the other, but it kind of just depends. But I'm able to kind of pull from both my parents, which has been really nice.
Yeah, it's called balance. Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah. But that's ideal. I mean, nobody's perfect, right? Like we all learn things in our lives, but to have two parents where you felt like you could pull something from each of them and make it your own, that's one of the biggest compliments you could probably give parents, honestly. That's their goal.
Yeah, definitely. I think that their parenting and the way in which they handled me as a kid, as an athlete, and all the and a young adult, like it's just helped me in so many different ways, whether it was with my siblings or how to talk to my teammates or how to have hard conversations. Like, because I had conversations with my parents. Like, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
feel like they always had a high standard and would challenge me, in different ways. Like they didn't do everything for me, as a
Right.
kid. Yes, they'd help me with things, but also sometimes like if I had to fail, they'd let me fail, let
Mm.
me fail and figure it out. And so I think that that's always helped me, in life because I'll see something and, I love a good challenge. So whether that's putting things together, cooking different recipes, like just trying something out, like I love to try different things and I'm just not afraid of a little challenge.
I think you naturally, like, you kind of got to be that way in a family that has at least four kids like yours, right? I mean, I know that household had to be competitive growing up.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, we would compete about who was going to get shotgun in the car. Like,
Yeah.
we would be racing and we would make everything a competition, but it was always fun because even when somebody lost, like, yeah, there might be a little bit of taunting or whatever, but like, we just had so much fun with it. And I think that it also allowed us to learn to be like vulnerable with each other because if one of us needed help with something, like whether it was school, softball, or just like help in general, we knew that one of our siblings was always going to be there. And so I think that that says a lot about us and our ability to just have like conversations, whether they're softball related or not.
Mm, that's really amazing to have a support system,
Yeah.
right? It sounds like it's almost like they were your first teammates.
Oh, for sure. They're I say it all the time because I'm always like they're my best friends, and so that's where it's like I have my best friends that are not family, but it's like when people are always like, "Oh, well, who's your best friend?" I'm like, no, literally, like my siblings, like they really are. Like so, like I have those besties outside of that, but it's just those ones have been there my whole life. They're always there, and I can go to them for anything.
Yeah. I'm sure the hype to roast ratio is pretty balanced too among you all, I'd imagine.
The what is?
The amount you hype them
Oh yeah.
versus the roasting, I'm sure that's pretty
It's
balanced.
balanced just to keep it fun but not too serious.
Yeah, you got to keep everyone's feet on the ground, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
No, I mean that's the fun part, you know, having them to relate to, and you did lead them as the first one to do these things, but how rewarding that must be to see them do. And yes, they're choosing similar paths to you, right? Softball, baseball, but to see them kind of make it their own. I would imagine that as an older sibling, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's cool because it's like I know what I did and what I went through in college and all the fun unique experiences I had and all the friendships and places I got to go to, like knowing that they're all doing that. Like Sydney did that at Oklahoma, and now she's coaching at Oregon, and she's having that whole experience. And then Mikey just got called up to AAA, and he's traveling, and he got married, and like he's done so many different things. And then you have Sophia, who it's like Sophia went through playing. She did gymnastics. Then she also was really big into like content creating. Then she went into softball, and like she's our like very out there, outgoing like girl in the family. And then she went to Boise, and now like I went and did a trip where I went and visited Sydney and then Sophia with my mom, and it was cool to go to Boise. That was my first time there, and to
Yeah.
see the facilities, see where she lives, like go to coffee shops nearby and see what her college town was like, because that's her life, that's the life she's creating for herself, and that's going to be like a core memory for her for forever. And I was happy I got to experience it so I could share a little piece of it with her.
It's very cool to me that you all chose to go to such different places, too. You're from California, right? But then you went to Michigan, of course, Sydney, Oklahoma, and then Sophia now in Boise. I would imagine, again, that your decision to kind of go your own way helped them make theirs to go their own way as well.
Definitely. I mean, what's funny is Sydney actually almost went to Michigan. It was between Michigan and Oklahoma, and we would have played together for 1 year had she gone. But one of the big things that we always talked about when she was being recruited was I was like, you would only get 1 year with me. Like, so you have to be happy for the other 3 years that you're going to be here. So
Right.
it's like, don't do this if it's just for me. Um, you got to go with what fits you, what makes sense, like what feels like comfort and home for you. And for me, it's Michigan, and like I'm not leaving, but like, it doesn't have to be Michigan for you. And what's cool is she loved Michigan. She loved the coaches. But when I think of Oklahoma, like I totally think of Sydney. Like Sydney is
Yeah.
such a country girl at heart. Like, she went line dancing when she was out there. Pretty sure she had some cowboy boots. Like, she that fits her to a T. Me, no, that's not that's not really my cup of tea. But it's cool to see that she went towards what made sense for her. And same with Mikey. Mikey was committed to LSU, and so for him, like I could totally have seen him going there. Obviously, he went in the draft, so he didn't go. But then even like Boise for Sophia, like she went with what made sense for her and what would make her happy. And so I love that everybody, felt comfortable doing what was going to be best for them.
Yes. And that had to be instilled. Obviously, you talked about your parents and them seeing you do it. Like, that's something that has to be instilled in you to have the confidence, really, to do that.
No, for sure. I mean, I think at the end of the day, if you feel like confident in yourself and who you are, like you're going to be more willing to make that decision that's going to be best for you. And I feel like all of us, Romero's are, we're pretty sure of like who we are and, what we want out of life and what we want out of certain things. And, um, it's cool because we know that we're always going to be there for each other, and the family part's like always going to be there. Like we have a family group chat, like we're always messaging in it every day. I'm pretty sure I talk to my mom every single day. Like, I talk to the siblings. Like it's funny because Mikey's probably the hardest one to get a hold of just because he's so all over the place. You never know where he
Yeah.
is with his crazy schedule. But it's so cool how we always find time to like connect and then come together, whether that's holidays or like Sydney will have a recruiting trip or games out here, and I'm like, hey, like if you're in the area, like stay at the house, like come, let's get dinner, let's do whatever. So we always try to find time and make time for each other.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, truly, you know.
Definitely.
But what did, when you made your decision to go to Michigan, what felt right about going there for you?
Um, I liked the challenge that Michigan presented to me, which was when I was getting recruited, all the schools that were recruiting me had already offered me a full ride. And when I went to Michigan, they were the only school that had no offer on the table. They just wanted me to come out for a camp. And I was kind of like, interesting. Like, why? I wonder why they haven't offered me. Like, everybody else kind of has. Like, they haven't even like
Yeah.
talked about it. So it was intriguing in that way. But after I got there and I did the camp and did everything, we ended up having a meeting in I think it was Hutch's office or like in the main like Michigan room. And that's when we had the conversation. And I had asked her, like, why, like, I was just curious, like, how come you didn't offer me, before I got here? Like, I just, everybody else kind of did. So I was just kind of curious why you didn't. And she literally looked at me and said, well, I didn't know if I was going to like you. And I was like, I like that answer
Yeah.
because I'm also coming here to see if I like you.
Right.
So like that it was just very honest, and her being so like blunt and honest with me was like something I liked cuz I don't like when people sugarcoat things for me. Like I don't like you trying to just like, you know, tell me I'm the best thing ever. Like I want honesty. Like I want to get better, and I can't get better if you can't have an honest conversation with me.
Yeah.
So when she did that, I was kind of like, you're the first person to just be like who you are, and like what you see is what you get kind of thing. And I respected that and I liked it. And so I just knew that that's where I wanted to be. And when I got on campus too, it's like this weird feeling of like you just feel like you're home, which is weird because it's like I'd never been there before, but I got there and I felt super comfortable. I felt super safe. I was getting this college campus experience. I love football, so like thinking of the football games at the big house and the tailgates and just like the life I was going to be able to live and the experience I was going to be able to have for 4 years out of my life, I was like I want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. The football piece. I think, were you there when Harbaugh was the coach?
Yes.
Okay, so he was also the coach when I was at Stanford, so I can relate to you there. I got you
Yeah.
there on the
Yeah.
football side. Yeah,
Yeah, we
easy
we was
character.
really cool when we were there because we had him. We had was it Hoke, I think was his last name. But that was when we had like Denard Robinson, like they called him Shoelace because he ran out of his shoes, and like we just had a really cool, like unique football team during
Yeah,
those 4 years and such cool experiences. So it was really cool to see all that at the big house.
yeah, and it's the whole experience, like you're saying, not just the softball piece, but what is that experience going to be like? You said it. You wanted to get your degree. It was about going to school, getting it paid for. Pursuing multiple things, not just softball. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that you had the foresight at such a young age, right? It is a young age when we're making these decisions
Oh yeah.
to think that through.
Yeah, and that was something where it was like, I just knew I wouldn't have that college experience if it wasn't for softball. And
Yeah.
so, using that athletic ability that I had to have something paid for and something that was going to benefit me later on with my degree, with it being from Michigan, like to me it made sense.
Yeah. And then you got to have your years with Hutch, the GOAT,
Yeah,
right?
I
After
had
that.
to. I had
Yeah.
to. And that was the other part, right? Like she was such a big selling point too, getting to play for her. And like you said, she's the goat, and all the amazing things I'd heard about her. And for me, it was like I want to experience this, and so I was really lucky that I got to experience it.
What were some of the biggest things you feel like you learned from her?
I think the biggest thing I learned was probably how to lead other people.
Hmm.
Whenever we had our end of the year meetings, our meetings were never about me needing to get better at softball. Our meetings were always about me needing to be a better leader. And
Hmm.
so she always challenged me because I would ask her, I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like I feel like I am leading really well, or I am doing this well. And her challenge was always just like, how can you make people around you better? She's like, I literally don't need you to get better. She's like, I don't need you to be a better softball player. She's like, I just need you to help bring everybody else up around you. So I remember like that off season, it was me like just trying to figure out what that looked like. I would watch different videos like on Derek Jeter, who was somebody I really looked at like as the captain, right? And just like how does he lead and how do all these like big athletes like take control of a team without controlling a team? Because I'm like, I don't want to control people. Like that's not my style. Like I want to make people want to be better and be great, but I don't want them to feel controlled. So it was like
Right.
trying to figure out how to do that. And, for me, it became like if somebody was struggling, I was always somebody to go hit on my own. And it was kind of like my little escape. But I just started bringing people along with me. Like, hey, we should, like, let's hit together. Like, let's hit and, like, let's work on stuff. So she kind of gave me that open door to, like, help coach my teammates in a sense and help
Yeah.
like them with what I knew about softball. And somebody who's struggling on defense or in the outfield, like I'll stay longer and I'll hit you extra reps and I'll, do whatever I can to make you feel more confident and comfortable because confidence was never something I struggled with. So whether I was playing well or not, like I'm going to always have the same confidence. Like, yes, it's going to go down a little bit or higher on certain days where I'm doing really well, but like at the end of the day, I do always still believe in myself. And so for me, it was how do I just keep giving that energy to my teammates?
Yeah. Gosh, this is such great insight because people could easily look on paper, right, and see, okay, Sierra is the first player in NCAA history to have 300 hits, 300 runs, 300 RBIs. But so many things, in my opinion, have to go right to accomplish things like that. And that's not just, to your point, not just between the lines. I think a lot of things have to kind of be in place for something like that to work. And obviously, Hutch's leadership is wonderful, but just the things that you're talking about, you learn to be a leader too. I don't see how they're not related, right? I feel like that had to feed into what ended up being some of your, big stats and results.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff doesn't happen unless I have, really good teammates around me also doing their job, getting on
Yeah.
base and scoring runs and helping win games. And um, me also not focusing on myself and stats helps me
Yeah.
perform better. Like I'm not somebody who likes to know my stats. I'm not somebody who likes to focus on numbers. If I feel good, I feel good. I don't
Yeah.
care if my average looks bad or it looks really good. I go based off how I feel. And if I
Mm,
feel good, then there's no reason for me to panic. If something feels off, I know I'm going to do the extra work to make it feel right. So for me, there's never really a time where I need to be hitting any type of like panic button.
yeah. The feel is so true because you can, hit three line drives right at people, but feel great with the swing or feel wonderful like that game. And your stat might be a little bit different than what you would hope for, but that's such a good point.
Yeah.
Feel is such a big deal. Yeah.
And I like to go based off feel now because
Yeah.
there's so much data out there now and like video and things to tell you and show you all the things you're doing wrong. But you're never going to do everything perfectly in a game. So
Right.
I don't need to practice everything being perfect all the time because that's not actually how it goes in the game.
Right. Right. It's just the game that we chose, right?
A game full of failure.
Yeah, it's true. But I like that what you've mentioned too is you've had just certain things like your family and certain things like confidence that are your foundation throughout this. And to say that you haven't struggled with confidence, that that's something that's really instilled in you, that's a big deal too. A lot of people would envy that. But I'm
Mhm.
sure it, took hard work to feel that way. That didn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like I'm confident all the time. It's just that
Right.
even on the days where I feel less confident, like I still know that my less confident is better than most people's best,
Mm,
because it's like I know that I'm doing the right thing day to day. Like I know I'm putting in the work and I know I'm doing all these things. So for me, it's like can't really get that mad at myself. I'm doing what I need to do to be strong. I'm doing what I need to do to try to eat healthy and do like just doing all these things and I'm being a good person. So it's like if something doesn't go my way, it just wasn't meant to be. It just didn't go my way. Like I can't really be that mad about it and it just doesn't affect my confidence maybe like how it used to when I was younger just because it's like it to me it's water under the bridge like next thing that's going to come up and happen like I'll just be ready for it.
yeah. I'm feeling like I'm getting a glimpse into what I know your app is called for your softball training app, the 32 approach. You've worn 32 forever, and I'm feeling like I'm getting a sense of what the approach is for number 32, the way that you're talking about this, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of the app. The whole point of the app is to give athletes affordable softball development and to give them confidence. Because, like, the
Yeah.
one thing I was really blessed with was I played for a travel organization, the Batbusters, that we had our own facility in California. Like, we had all the bells and whistles. And, like, I was super lucky to be able to have that. And after, college, when I've done camps and clinics and I see how little other people have, or you see how expensive certain things are, I'm like, how can we make it so that these athletes can put in legit good work that's going to give them results that is actually legit done that's actually done by pro players and by college players and it's legit but also give it to them for an affordable price cuz you know my trainer for example who's in the app he's $500 a week. That's not at all what you're paying for the app, not even
Right.
close. So it's like, and then me, if I do lessons, like I have to charge at least $60. So if you're coming to me twice a week, that's 120 bucks,
Yeah.
a week. And that's not even as close to how much the app is. So,
Right.
the app is only $32 and it's just like, it's the workouts that I'm doing. So I know that they're good and I know that they work because I'm 31 years old. I've gotten stronger, I've gone faster, and I'm doing these workouts in the app. So
Right. You're walking the walk.
yeah.
Yeah. What is it about the number 32 also? So, because you have been wearing it forever, you're still wearing it in AUSL. Why that number in your life?
So it started in high school. My best friend was 23, so it was like a 23-32 kind of thing. And then when it got to college, I was like, do I want to keep it or do I want to change it? So what I ended up doing was looking to see like if it had been a little while since somebody had worn 32, and it had. So my goal was I wanted to take that number. I wanted it to, if it wasn't 32, it was going to be just a number that somebody hadn't worn in a while or at all at Michigan. And so I took 32 because it also made sense because I had had it all of high school. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want to make a name for it. And I hope that when people hear 32 or the number 32, like I hope it's kind of like Derek Jeter, people think of number
Yeah.
two, they think of him. So I would hope that I could like pave my own way with 32.
Yeah. That's special. I think of Jeter and I think of Sydney, for the record,
I
with
do.
number two.
Yeah. I think of Sid too.
But I have to imagine then, you just said you're 31. When you turn 32, there's got to be some special birthday celebration or something in the works, is
Oh,
there?
there has to be because it's just like what is it, your golden birthday, where it's like, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like that's got to be like my actual golden birthday. So it's like I don't know what I'll do, but it's got to be something big.
Yeah. I feel like your family will be on board with that too, because they've been there
Oh
through
yeah,
the whole journey. Yeah.
I definitely
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. And the things that you've developed, though, like this app, I know you've had a shoe deal before, and even recently you designed a glove that honors your dad's memory. So cool, by the way, just looking at all the little pieces that you had on there to put it together. The inspiration seems like it was just amazing. And it seems like it came from a place of gratitude. Is that how you
Yeah.
felt? How did you feel when you made it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that going into making that glove, like I really, really, really wanted this glove to mean something and to not only mean something, but like look the part too. And so for me, it was like it was almost really nice way to help with like my grieving process because for me it was I was able to focus my attention on something that was going to help remind me of my dad and help me, just kind of give thanks to him and everything he's done for
Yeah.
us and our family. And so for me it was like I always feel peace when I'm looking at the sky, the sunsets, and in Florida, the sunsets, and especially like at the beach and everything, like it's so beautiful. So for me, it was like I wanted to create that on the glove. I wanted to add different things on there, like from like legit tattoos that I have on me, and put them onto the glove and have his little quote on the side, product of hard work. And so for me, this glove was much more than just, a Sierra Romero glove. It was something for my family, for my dad, and just something that I felt represented him and just like that unconditional love that we have.
That's the part that I loved about it too, when you kind of introduced it to the world, that you said it reminds you of the things that mattered most to him. One of those things being unconditional love, and of course, being a product of hard work. What are some of the other things you feel like just oozes out of it?
Um, I feel like a sense of kind of peace kind of oozes out of it. Like anytime I look at it, I feel so relaxed. Anytime I'm playing with it, I can't help but just feel extremely relaxed. Like, 'cause like I said, like looking at the sky brings me a lot of peace, but also just like the colors with it and just knowing that it's for him and just kind of the family aspect of it. Like all of these things bring me peace in my life. And so for me to have it on a glove, it's just a constant reminder anytime I have it and I'm looking at it. It's funny because I literally have it right here at my desk. I'm
Yes. I
shaping it
love
right now.
that.
So you can literally like see, like it's got all the colors. It's super cool. Like on the inside we have
So
the
cool.
sun and the 32. These are my tattoos, and I have another tattoo that's here. But even the
Awesome.
patch, like we wanted to change up the patch and stuff, but it's just something that's really cool for me to look back on that I was able to do in my softball career, and none of this would have been possible without my dad, but then also without softball. So it's so
Right.
cool for me to like look back on to, and it's funny because I'm at the gym and I have these baseball players coming up to me at the gym. They're like, "Your glove is sick," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Thanks." So it's cool to see that it's getting to not just the softball community.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, it's so cool. I love it. I mean, I thought the meaning behind it most of all, but even if I knew nothing about the background and just saw the glove, I would say the same thing as those baseball players. I'd be like, that's really sick. So I feel
Yeah,
like you just
so
captured it beautifully. Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it.
But now, you guys are all, like you said, your whole family, since this was such a family focus for you, even in developing this and really in a lot of things that you do. What do you think your dad would say to you and your siblings now, if he could? What do you take with you?
Just that he's proud of us, and I think that that's something he's always said. But I don't think that anything we are doing now would make him more or less proud. I
Yeah.
think that how we've lived our lives, for how long he got to see it was exactly what he wanted. And so for us, it's just continuing to live life like that, and live it to the fullest, and do the right thing even when nobody's watching, and be good people, and just like having an impact on our family, on the world, and just doing what we can. And I think that he's been so proud of us for such a long time. So I just think that that would still continue to be what he would say.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
And another thing that I think is beautiful about your family too is I read that all the girls share the same middle name, which is Joy.
Yeah. All of us have the same middle name. So Sierra Joy, Sydney Joy, Sophia Joy, and then my mom, Melissa Joy.
Yeah. That must be a beautiful reminder in
Oh,
life too.
definitely. Yeah, I got that tattooed on me too.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that, like, one of the things I love. I love my last name, but I also love my middle name. It reminds me of all of us girls.
Yeah. How do you define joy? Like, what is joy to you in your life?
Joy for me is anything that brings me peace. Um, like,
Mm,
as I've gotten older, like, I've just realized just how hard it is to come by with life and its craziness. So, whether that's on a rainy day watching Harry Potter with my partner,
yeah.
or, hanging out with my dogs and playing fetch, or the holidays and, sleeping in and having coffee with my family right when we wake up, like in the living room, just little moments like that and little things. So I find it in a bunch of different things that I do, playing Uno, like just moments of just true peace and like happiness, where there's not like a need to put on a front or to feel like you're entertaining anybody, or it's like I just feel comfortable with where I'm at and what I'm doing.
Yes, absolutely. Peace. I love that that's the place that you came from with that initially. I have to ask you though, do you know what house in Harry Potter that you are in?
The test that I did said that I would be Hogwarts.
That you're just Hogwarts?
No, no, no. It said I would be. No, I wasn't Slytherin. I was Gryffindor.
Okay. That feels right. That feels
I
on
was
brand.
Gryffindor. I was
Yeah.
Gryffindor. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what. Oh, Sam Fisher. Sam Fisher said she was Hogwarts too. Or not Hogwarts, Gryffindor. I keep saying Hogwarts. I mean Gryffindor.
I feel like
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor kind of ran Hogwarts, to be fair, so
Yeah, I
I
kind of
get
just
it.
thought that Hogwarts was Gryffindor, honestly. And then everybody else was just there because they needed space.
Yeah, it's fine. I am a Slytherin based on the test that I did, and I was
Okay.
surprised and like kind of shook at first. Now I've embraced it a little bit since then.
Interesting.
But yeah, yeah,
That's so interesting.
yeah. Green is my favorite color, so we'll roll with it, sure.
Perfect. It works. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to go to Harry Potter World at Disney World.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I would love to hear about it if you do. I've been to in Southern California, like at Universal, the Harry Potter world that's smaller. Everything's bigger in Florida. So let me know
I'm
how that
excited to
is.
go. I plan on going in the off season, so I'm excited.
That is awesome. That is really, really fun. I can't wait for you for that. I'm excited.
It'll be fun. I'm excited.
Well, thank you for doing this. I mean, I would talk to you all day long.
Well,
Um,
thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, this has been awesome. I also do, before I let you go, I do a little quick game with everybody who comes on the show called Safer Out. So basically, I'll bring up a topic. If you like it or you agree with it, you call it safe. If not, then you'll call it out. Make
Okay.
sense? Okay. So the first one is wearing eye black at night. Safer out.
Safe.
I had a feeling. You're an eye black girl, right? I feel like you
Hmm.
rock it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it mostly for the vibes more so than like,
Yeah.
the sun? Yeah.
Definitely the vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever get like creative different types of designs or are you just like I stick with,
I'm
the
either just
basic?
straight lines or straight lines and like two smears, but
Yeah.
those are the only two that I do.
Yeah. Nice. Keep it simple. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that was the first one. Second one is the transfer portal. Safer out.
Out.
It's tough and it is a different time,
That's if you're
you know.
counting when I was in school, out. Now with
Right.
NIL. safe. So if you're including NIL in there, then it's safe. So, I mean, NIL changes everything.
It's changed a lot. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of different things all that came together all at once, it feels like, in the last few
Yeah.
years to change the landscape. Okay, fair enough. Last one is bat flips. Safe or out?
Safe.
What's your bat flip vibe? Like, what type of bat flip is a Sierra Romero bat flip, do you think?
I'm not a bat flip person. I'm so quick to want to get out the box because I want to be safe if it doesn't go over the fence that I don't really ever get to like pimp it. But if I do, mine's not really a flip. I like hit and I just kind of like hold it in my hand and then like drop it
Yeah,
like that. I don't like flip it in the air. I kind of just like watch it and drop it.
yeah. It's a low key flex. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like that. I like that vibe. All right. Well, you crushed it with your answer.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for playing, and thank you again for joining. This was wonderful, and I just can't wait to see the rest of the All Star Cup and everything you and your family do because it's been wonderful having you all in the softball world. So I
Thank you. I
just
appreciate it.
wishing you the best. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It was really fun getting to know Sierra more. Just what built her, what drives her, what she's learned, and plenty more. And with her family and just on her own journey, she's just building a legacy that we can all learn from. So I'm thrilled that we were able to have her on. And with that, let's bring it home. You've been listening to Bleav in Softball, part of Bleav Network, presented by FanDuel. The show is available anywhere you get your podcasts, wherever you listen, including Bleav.com and YouTube too. Subscribe to the show, rate the show, and if you liked it, write a review for it. Follow us on X and Instagram at Bleav in Softball. Again, that's BLEAV. You can reach out to me personally on X at Jenna Becerra01 and Instagram at Jenna Becerra as well. As always, thank you for tuning in and catch you soon.